thankful that your teachers make time for me to come in so that I can share this park right with you guys. Has anybody been to Mokaue'a? Okay. Did you guys go in 7th grade?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, we had you guys, 7th graders stopped coming, but today I'm grateful and thankful that I'm here, and I stand before you not by myself, but with all of my ancestors that are with me, and in sharing with all of each and every one of your kupuna that are with you guys today. So I want to welcome them here with us today, also to help us, and remind us to actually help us to gather all the ike and the knowledge from them. Because as I have up here, the future is really rooted in the past, and I'm hoping that as you guys go through life, you guys will really understand that our kupuna have so much to share, and they left us so much. We are one of the cultures that they left us so much and so much knowledge, and that's what I'm here today to help show you guys and bring light to what they have left us. And usually I'll go into schools that really don't know what these values are, but I know I don't have to go over it with you guys, right? You guys are very familiar with all of these values, you know? Right. Yeah. So, but I did want to point out this picture right here is taken on the island on Mokaue'a. And you guys recognize that? Oh yes, that's the sea cucumber, and the Hawaiian name is veli. And if you look in the kumalipo, it's actually in the kumalipo. It's in the beginning of the kumalipo. So some of our Hawaiian classes will study the kumalipo and the first 5 animals, and we'll come out to the island and we'll actually see them in life. And that just makes you question why did they put these first in the kumalipo? Really try to understand. But yeah, this is really pretty rare, so it's a really nice find that I got to take this picture. And also you can see the kuahibis up here, which are your mountains back there. Okay, so usually I'll start off with whole archipelago, because a lot of people don't realize that Hawaiian Islands are not just the small little 8-point islands. And I was so blessed to go to Pabahana Mokaue'a, and so I'm just wanting to share this with everyone because when I was your age, I didn't know about these islands as well. How many of you guys have heard of Nihoa and Mokumanamana? Okay, so the reason why I'm telling you this because it does relate to our Mokaue'a that we're in now. There's a huge connection. So after Niihau and Kauai, there about 300 miles up is the first island, Nihoa, and this is what starts off our Kupuna Islands. So it goes all the way up. So the hot spot is here now, right? So this is where Kure and Midway, they were all the way down here. You know how our tectonics are moving northwest. But we have stories of Pele coming up here. So my real job is actually an archaeologist. So I was fortunate enough to go and do some archaeology on Nihoa and Mokumanamana. So these 2 islands are so important to our culture and our kupuna. It's actually on the Tropic of Cancer, and this is the farthest that the sun goes. And our kupuna had a name for that. It's called Kelanui Palahiwa Akane. And in Tropic of Capricorn is Kelanui Palahiwa Kanaloa. And our kupuna knew how sacred this was. This was the time where winter solstice we just had, December 21st. So that means that the sun was all the way down Tropic of Capricorn. So they call it the tropics. That's the only place that the sun travels. And our kupuna and our ancestors were the followers of the sun. The sun was so important to us. And there's that time of the day where the sun is directly over your head, which is the solstice, winter and summer solstice, where you have no shadow and it's completely within you. So that's, you are spiritual time. And Mokumanamana is on that line. And that is the biggest heiau of all of our islands. Archaeologists in the 1920s actually, they separated it all and they said there's, over, 100 sites there, but basically we really like to see it as one site, like having to do with the alignment of the sun. Just like Egypt, just like Machu Picchu, they were all people who were watchers of the sun. Yeah. And in so many of our other heiaus, they all line up with the rising and setting of the sun. But I just wanted to guys follow that. Okay, and I see you guys have this back there, so definitely don't have to go over this with you guys. So you guys know that we're in Kapalama and Kalihi Ahupua'a. So when we go down Mokaue'a, we're going to the islands of Mokaue'a, Islandsm, and all of the other islands there, which are basically in your Ahupua'a. So I'm so excited every time Kamehameha comes because you guys hardly ever get to come to see Mokaue'a. You guys look outside of your door and you see all those islands out there every single day that you guys are here in school. And I think it's really, really important for you guys to know what those islands are called. So again here, just showing you guys where it is situated and how all of these islands have been sliced up and cut up. We'll talk about that. So this is Mokaue'a Island, which we'll be visiting. This is a more recent picture showing our fish pond, which was actually enlarged into 2 acres. But when we go out there, it'll be low tide, so we will be walking out all on this papa out here and seeing all of the marine life. And so we'll get in the canoes and then land here and then walk around and explore the island. So Kalihi Kapalama, you guys all know that that's where we are now. It's really hard to talk about Kalihi and not Kapalama because as you see, it basically, Kalihi is a bigger Ahupua'a and Kapalama kind of merges up into it. But again, this is your Ahupua'a. When you guys are down there, you look up at it. When you're up here, you look down at it every single day. So here, a sense of place. I really feel strongly that having a good cultural sense of place is really, really important. How many of you guys know the meanings of Kalihi and Kapalama? So I'm hoping all of you guys will etch this in your brain that Kapalama, there's so much more that you can add to Kapalama. And the llama wood was very sacred. It is very sacred in our culture. They actually, up here, they would have these llama enclosures. So they would have all the llama wood, they would make an enclosure, and they would put our women inside of here while they're waiting to be paired off or married or paired off to be with their partner. So, right. And Kalihi is the edge, but there's so much more meaning to that because when you put all the other place names together, there's so much spiritual essence to this whole area. Once you get to know all of the place names, so much is revealed. So your mountain names. There's, how many of you guys know the mountain that's directly above your eyes here? Today would be actually a perfect day. It's okay because it's just, it's not taught, but hopefully today you guys will remember the mountain, the highest mountain behind here is Lanikuli, and the turning of the heavens. And once you get to know all of these names, the meanings, so you have Kahauli here, Kilohana, Punukohe, and then you have Lanikuli. And all these names here, if you are interested, this would really be a cool part to do because the more and more you get to know these names, the more and more you really like step into the lens and the shoes of our ancestors, and I like to call it ancestral lens, where you actually put on a Mokaue'a shades to really see what our ancestors were thinking, because when they named places, it wasn't just because, it was a specific reason why they named a certain place a certain name, either for its geographical characteristics or its spiritual characteristics, and you'll see the more and more I talk about it and more things are revealed. How many of you guys know this name, Kiana Kamano? Do you guys know where Kiana Kamano is?
Oh, west side.
Huh?
Is it on the west side? Or is it a different place?
No.
It's actually probably the main gate. There's a
Oh.
lot there. And then that valley right there, when you guys are
Yes.
coming up the gate, it's called Kiana Kamano. And then there's a pu'u up here called Kiana Kamano. And then there's a cave called Kiana Kamano. And this cave, what do you guys think it has to do with? Yeah, exactly. A shark. So, and then also the street name, when you guys are coming up from the windy road, before you get on Bishop, it's right here. It's called Kiala Mano. You guys recognize that when you're driving the bus? Okay, when you guys going home today, pay attention to the street name. When you're going right before you turn right and you go down the windy road, the street sign says Kiala Mano. Kiala Mano. Okay, what is that translating to?
Shark Street. Shark Street or path.
Of the shark. Okay, so, and then you have Kiana Kamano, the cave of Mano. So, what is that telling you guys about this place? Huh? Exactly, okay, so, this is why the sharks from down Mokaue'a Islandsm, they would swim up the lava tubes, up to the cave up here, and the ohana that lived up here fed the sharks.
That's so cool.
And the sign has the traditional name too. It's the path of the Mano. So when I was sharing this with the other classes that came, I think it was your guys' class last year, they were like so excited and they're like, Auntie, can I please put this on our senior shirt? Or and I'm like, oh my god, please put this like on your shirts. Tell everyone, like, these are stories that need to be told and need to be shared, and that you guys all should be passing on and sharing and putting it on your class shirts and sharing these shark stories, you know, because there's not a lot of places that I've found in my history where there's this Mokaue'a connection to the Mano, and this whole valley is called Kiana Kamano. There's a pu'u up here called Kiana Kamano. And then you guys have this whole pa down there. That's the name of it. You know. I just got sleep. And then there's still stories today. There's still families out there. I know Randy Frong actually, his ohana. I was reading an interview and he was, if you see him, he actually will tell you stories about his tutunan telling you that they fed the sharks out there. And there's other kupuna that I've met that talks about the sharks. There's lots, and there's more shark stories that I'll be telling you on the way. But here again are Kaliki and Kapulama. So there's fish ponds all along this area. So here's Mokaue'a. Okay, so this is the 1883 map of Kaliki Valley. So you guys are always staring at Kaliki Valley too when you guys are coming up and going down. So here, all of these names right here, maps can reveal so much information, you guys. If you guys are ever wondering what was, like, how many of you guys know the name of the Ahupua'a that you guys live in, if you don't live on campus? The name and the meaning. So if you don't know the meaning, go home, you got homework. But it'll just tell you so much. So here, in all these old maps, you have all these names. So the names in the bold are ili names. So each Ahupua'a has ilis within it. It's like a mini Ahupua'a kind of. So here you have Mokaue'a Ili right here, which is huge. It goes all the way down to Mokaue'a. And in Mokaue'a Street, if you guys are ever driving in Kalihi at the bottom and you go through Mokaue'a Street, that's actually where the Ili was. So a lot of place names, if you guys are paying attention, it will show you and it will reveal to you different clues that our kupuna left for us to decipher. A lot of kupuna that were naming places, they took these maps and they literally took the names from these maps and made street names. Yeah, so here you have the area of Kapo. How many of you guys live in Kapo there? Anybody? Okay, so I just went and did a talk at Kapolei High School and they really didn't know that Kapo Ulakina'u was the goddess of their school. But it's just not told, you know, it's really sad. They were so excited when they found that out. But that's Pele's sister, but she actually lived up here in these mountains. And then here you have her name. And then you have the names at the bottom. So if you guys look closely, you can see Hawaiian names. So you might actually see your family name like I did, which was so amazing. I saw my family name right here. Kauna Ohua, she actually was the steward of that area. So how many of you guys been to KKB? Kukua Valley. It's another program like ours where you can go and work the aina and work in the loties and work the land. But it's right here. That would be such a really good project for you guys to go and see. Punijam are amazing. But from these maps, we found out who actually were the caretakers of those two ahupua'as, two ilis that they have. So that was really exciting to find out. And here you have ahupua'a of Kapalama, which is really tiny. But we had, you guys had two fish ponds. We had Kubili and Kaba fish pond in here. And then if you look at the LCA awards, if you guys are ever interested in doing something on your ahupua'a, you can go to the land claim awards, you can find out who were the stewards of these fish ponds, you can find out what they were doing, what else they were growing, the fish, like, there's so much information in all of these land claim awards. And it's phonetically LCAs if you guys are ever interested in doing more research. Okay, so again, going back to the cultural landscape. Once you know the stories, once you know the names, the meanings, and then comes along the mo'olelo, the stories of the land that transcends the land from just land, but to aina, and therefore it becomes alive. So here we have Kilohana. So here's you guys. Here's your school right here. Here's your mountain, Lanihuli. Here's Pu'umai'a. So here's another. This is the highest one, actually in your ahupua'a, but then outside of it is actually Lanihuli. But basically, Kilohana, this whole area was a really, really sacred place. I don't know if you guys feel it when you guys are up here, but when you get to know the stories, it just gives you so much more knowledge and wisdom of what was going on up here. So you guys all know who Papa and Rakia is, right? Okay, so Papa in her human form is Haumea, and they actually lived up here in Kilohana. And for them to pick Kilohana, Kali Valley, Kapalama is really, really important. And there's so much more layers that I won't have time to go into, and there's so much more layers that I'm still trying to find out and figure out and trying to understand the essence of this entire area. But to me, that is really important that Papa and Bakia and Haumea in human form lived up here. And in Kapo, Ulakina'u, she actually lived up in this area too. And when she was at Kapolei, she threw her kohelepe to kohelepe, and she hid it up here in this valley. go look up the word hummus. And it's this name right here. Okay, so there is just so much female, male, progeneration, creation, all right here in this area. Very, very important. And then Konahua Nui, that's the highest mountain on this entire range. If you guys read the story Keaumele, there's all of the mountain ranges have all characters. They're not just mountains, they're people. Lani Huli, right here, Lani Huli. That's another important place. Maui, you guys all know Maui, right? The demigod Maui. So he was up there. One of the stories, he's up there, he's looking back at Haleakala on the solstice with the sun rising. Then he turns here, facing this way, looking at Nanakuli. Anybody live in Nanakuli, Lualole, Waianae? Okay, your home is the home of Maui's birthplace, right? Lualole, yeah, Maui and his mother. So, Haleakala, you know which one Haleakala is? Nanakuli? The one that looks like a triangle. So Hina's cave is in there, and then across there is Maui's cave. But that pool right there, Maui is actually watching the sunset on the solstice there. So all these points, all connected, they're all in our mo'olelo hula. If you guys dance hula, they're in our chants, they're in our olis. All the secrets that want to be revealed that our ancestors left are all left for us. It's like my husband calls it our Hawaiian database. Because we didn't have a written language, right? It's the 1820s, and the missionaries came, and we had it all in our poho. Like the kuliko is how many lines? Over 2,000 lines. The winds and the rains of Kalihi and Kapalama. Another important thing to know is the winds and the rains. And so when we're paddling, I don't know if you guys remember when you guys came, sometimes when you're paddling back from Mokaue'a to where we park the canoes, the wind is so strong, the makani is so strong. And one of the names coming down from Kali Valley is Haupe'epe. And Haupe'epe is basically to hide from, hiding. This is the wind that you literally want to hide from because it is so strong at times. The rain is the po'o, that's the ad's leg head, and then kapalama, the olunio. So the wind here in this area, and there's probably so many more wind names, but I'm still trying to like gather all of the names. Olunio has to do with the coconut frond, the new frond. So, and it has some kind of playful kind of connotation to it. And then there's different stories where I found these wind names, ko nihinihi and ko nahinahe. These names came in a chant that I actually found that was talking about the Ke'ehi area. But again, you can see where your school is, where your mountains are, learn your mountains. How many of you guys are from the outer island? What island? Kauai. So your mountain is around the island, right? And then anybody from Maui? Oh no, they have their own school. Hawaii Island?
They're all.
Oh, okay. Well, that's right. Kauai doesn't have a school here. But our mountain, who live on Oahu, you guys look at it every day. Today is such a clear day. Our highest mountain is over there in the Waianae. You must know this mountain. Yeah.
I know it, but not right now.
You stare at it every day. Yeah, you know it. It's Kaala. That's our mountain on Oahu.
Oh, by Kaala Farm.
But anyways, today I'm here to basically share the importance of why we're going down to Mokaue'a. We're not just going there to clean the island. We're not just going there to do science. One of the most important things is the sacredness of this area. And it is where all of our ali'i live. So King Kamehameha 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Kalakaua, and Timaru Nui, where we dance hula. A lot of these my tutu David Malakupi here, my husband's tutu, and right now we're kind of in a battle with the state. So when we have been from the 70s, from when they started dredging those islands. So been trying to do research for the past 10 years to prove that these islands were here. So a lot of people call these islands sand islands because and they say that they were all man-made. They were not man-made. Please delete that from your brain if anyone tells you that and correct them. They were man-altered and desecrated and destroyed. But we still have, the positive side is that we still have Mokaue'a left. But as you can see, this is a 1930s picture, and here we have Mokaue'a. Was given to the Damien family. But this island is where Kalakaua lived. This island is where we had all of our kupuna buried. Do you know what it is now? How many of you guys went on an airplane when you guys go home and you go over the reef runway? That's what's over this right now. It's really sad. Kahaka'olana, that's an island right there. This is where mine and my husband's family were from. And then you have Mokaue'a here. So this is all gone. This is pretty much mostly all gone. There's a little bit piece of this left. I mean, this is only this little portion is still here of Mokaue'a. They went in and they dredged it all up. On all of our kupuna that were buried there were no laws back then, so they were not protected. Like now we have laws. If you unearth our EV kupuna, there is basically you can't find or you go to jail. So, but in the 70s when they were dredging up this whole area, they didn't do the research. The state didn't do the research. They didn't know that our ancestors living here can trace our genealogy back many, many generations. When our ancestors sailed up here from where? Tahiti, down south, New Zealand, Aotearoa, all down south. When they sailed here, they had these migration chants. They didn't just come here because they didn't know where they were going. They definitely knew where they were going. They were reading the stars. Our people were ocean people. They knew all the names in the sky of the planets, the stars, everything. They had these migration chants, and one of them was called Kahiki Laulani. And in this chant, they actually talk about her. It's a really beautiful chant. She is flying in on her ke'o manu, and she's landing at Ke'ehi. And she is talking about her paddlers that are paddling her manu, but then yet she's talking about that they're also the wind. And they're called Konihinihi and Konahinahe. So those are the names of the wind in this area. They're in the chants. And she actually mentions, these islands. So how can these be man-made, right? If they're in our migration chants. Another one, you guys all know who Hi'iaki Pele is, right? Okay. His youngest sister, her favorite sister. She also mentions when she gets summoned by her sister Pele to go to Kauai to go gather lohe'au. So they go to Kauai, they go to Ka'ena down there. When they're on their way back, so they go up on the east side, they come back on this side of the island, all to the west side. Then when they're leaving Pu'uloa, they're going through Pearl Harbor, and then they're coming right into here. Hi'iaka is in her canoe with Lohe'au and Wahine Ma'ama'o, and they see Pele'ula surfing. Pele'ula is the goddess of this area of Ko that they don't use that name anymore. They kind of named it Honolulu now. But, so in that smolelo, Hi'iaka is passing Kahaka'olana. She's passing this area, and this story is in the book that they translated. So that was really exciting when I found that, because it shows proof again that these islands were here, because Hi'iaka's talking about it, And so she's passing here, and there's a surf spot that we surf out here. Everyone calls it Sharkies, but in that mo'olelo, I found the name for the surf spot, Kapuiki. And in the story, see, these are not just stories. They're actually stories to tell us real place names, real events, real things that actually happen. So don't ever think that mythology is a myth, because it has so much relevant information that you can draw from it. Yeah. So my point here is that I found these names, and this proves that these islands were here. It gave me the name of the surf spot out here. Okay, so this island right here, Lono, that means the floating oracle. So this is the place where all of our ancestors lived that basically studied the stars and the skies. But this island right here is what it's called Mokaue'a. Okay, so here's Mokaue'a, here's Mokaue'a, right here, here's Lono. So this whole area, you guys see how it looks real like shallow? So that's what Ke'ehi means. Ke'ehi means to tread upon, to walk upon. So Grandma who lived here in the 1900s, she just passed away 2 months ago, and she was 89, and she would just tell us these amazing stories about walking this whole area and gathering all types of limu, all types of fish, but this whole area was rich and full of life. So here we have what I want you guys to remember this name, okay? Mokaue'a. Delete Sand Island from your brain. Mokaue'a is such a powerful name. So what I would love to see is that all of our place names that they've changed to Po'ehaole names, that we give back our Hawaiian names, because it gives so much mana. Is there any mana in sand? No. But there is so much mana in Mokaue'a. Okay, what is Ola?
Life.
Mokaue'a, that is the breath of life. It is our deity of health. I didn't even know this, and I read it. I was like, wow, that's so exciting, you know. She was the deity of health. It's a place of healing, and this whole place needs it right now. And so we keep calling it by its name. It will become that name. Just like when you guys were all named, you guys don't know the name of your Hawaiian name. We'll find out, and then you realize why you are the way you are. So this got a lot bigger when they started dredging. Yeah, so this entire area right here, so here's Mokaue'a showing structures on it. That means Akupuna lived there. Also here, more structures, Lono, Mokaue'a. So this again is a reef runway now. Can you guys see all of this? Can you guys that were here, do you guys remember what I said that was? You guys can tell. It's all fish ponds. So this entire all of this was fish ponds. So today when you guys walk outside this door, can you guys stop and look down, and you will know what you're looking at. That is all these islands. But the sad thing is you will not see one fish pond. So again, all of these are all fish ponds. All of this. There were over 40 fish ponds right here. You look down, it was enormous. Like, we could feed 1 million people with all of our fish ponds on this island. It was amazing. And we did have 1 million Hawaiians living before So here we have, look, what is that word say? Mokaue'a. Oh, not Sand Island. So what they did was they supersized Sand Island. They expanded it, and a lot of it is sand, but it's also part of one of our islands. But when they dug up all these islands, they put it on top of Sand Island. That's why I guess they called it Sand Island. But it's Mokaue'a, and they just expanded it. So we should give it its true name and still call it that. And so here you have the Mokaue'a Island. So this is all gone now. Okay. But look at all these place names. All of this. I'm still in the process of decoding it. Like doing a little detective, trying to like figure out what else they were doing here, but if you see, they actually have vai, like some of them have vai in it. They have these. So our people used to get fresh water from the ocean. This fish pond right here, Lono fish pond. So I went back to the records. Remember I was telling you guys that you can go back and find out who were the caretakers of this. I don't say owned because our people didn't own that. Not like now where people own this land. We had a stewardship of our land. We took care of our land. We had this intimate relationship, yeah. So when you have this intimate relationship, you really don't have this ownership mentality. You have a caretaker mentality. And this was actually taken care of by Mokaue'a. And she had a bunch of different other fish ponds. And then that name also, I mentioned it earlier, because she had another plot up Mokaue'a. So here you can see all the fisheries. So here, Kamehameha III, what is his name? Mokaue'a. Okay, so Mokaue'a, he reigned the longest. He was Kamehameha III. He reigned the longest. He actually, did the whole mahele and everything in the 1840s. But he had an important role in trying to protect all of these fish ponds. So he wrote, in Hawaiian, he wrote his first constitution. He wrote to protect these fish ponds and other places as well. But in 1839, he said that these fish ponds were to be kapu. So in a sense, he was thinking of conservation to protect. Again, how many fish ponds are left? 0, correct. Okay, so this is a 1924 picture. You can see on a Lono fish pond. You see a Wiki fish pond. You can go back. How many of you guys paddle canoe? Okay, so you know where we race for state races and stuff back in Ke'ehi? This is back there. Okay, so that was all fish ponds. All this whole coast was all flat, all fish ponds. So this fish pond was 56 acres. So if you guys look down, well, when you guys come, when your class comes, when you guys are going over the bridge, look to the left, you'll see these dilapidated Maxon warehouses with asphalt all covered. That's where all these fish ponds were. All these fish ponds. Really sad. So this is just showing you guys over time how it has progressed and changed. So here's Mokaue'a growing. Some of the fish ponds are being filled in back here. So if you Google John Rogers Airport, that was the name of our old airport, you'll actually see seaplanes landing right next to our fish ponds. So, how many of you guys gone to Salt Lake? You guys drove through there? Yeah. So, did you ever drive through there on high tide where there's the sign that says no fishing? It's right by the bridge on Nimitz. But this whole place was all swampland, and so it all had salt ponds. So Salt Lake was really a salt lake. It was where we gathered pa'akai, salt. Like Kanapepe. We had a bunch of them here as well. But Kauai is the only place that you can actually go and see them still cultivating the pa'akai. So here you see the word pa'akai, Salt Lake. So these are all the fish ponds. This is all along the coast. So we actually had a salt pond right here, but it's not on this map. It's on another map. But I just wanted you guys to see how rich this entire area was. Because this is part of your guys' Ahupua'a now. This is your area. I don't know if you guys don't live here, but you guys are here more often than you are at home, I think. This whole entire area had 7 fisheries. So each fishery had a konahiki. You had to take care of your own fishery. Okay, so David Mokaue'a is one of my ancestors. He and my actually husband's too. So this is different from David Malo and David Malo Kupiha. Okay, they're related, but they're a different person, different time. They're born like 30 years apart. So David Malo was the Konahiki of fish ponds here. He actually lived on that island, Lono. Okay, so, and he actually helped with the Kumalipo too. And he was well educated and was actually in the House of Representatives. But he left, a lot of what I know is from him and then his granddaughter, which is grandma that just passed away, his great granddaughter, that shared a lot of stories with me and my husband, and we're just so blessed to have that knowledge. But so my husband is an artist, and this was his master's thesis for his sculpture. UH has an awesome sculpture department, and he actually went, he's from Kauai, from Kikaha. But this right here, the Ipuho'okele Wa'a, so this is, so David Malo Kupiha wrote this in his writings, and this is a navigational gourd. So I don't know if you can really see, but you fill it up with water, and you hang it, just like he's hanging it back here. You hang it on the canoe. And so the navigators would use this to navigate with. So if you guys can imagine, water in this bowl, what do you think it's reflecting at night? Exactly, so you don't have to keep looking up. So there's two pukas, you face one towards Hokupa'a, which is the North Star, and in his mo'olelo, well, in his writings, he actually talks about our kupuna taking care of these navigational gourds on these islands, on this island right here at Lono. And they would clean it with the ulu leaf, and they would hang it all in their houses, and a lot of them had different sizes. And he specifically said that they would use this navigational tool to sail up to Ku'ai, which is included, and he has it in parentheses, Nihoa and Mokumanamana. So these are the two Northwest Hawaiian islands that I was showing you. Remember I was showing you this in the beginning, but these two islands, and that they would sail up there on, a vessel just like the Va'akalua, the Kukule'a, or the Makali'i. They would sail up there and they would kahea, they would call back the i'a, the fish for the fish ponds in Ke'eli. So that's where there's that connection between Papahana Moku'akea, or Northwest Hawaiian Islands. But our ancestors that lived on these islands they were the kilohoku, they were the experts of the sky. They were the ones who told people when to plant, when to fish. They knew exactly which house each star was going to rise in. They knew when and where the sun was going to rise, because the sun moves every day, right? It moves, it travels its path, right? From Capricorn up to Cancer, and then it goes back down after December 21st. So within that path of the sun, they would know exactly when it's rising and setting. Mahina was so important, the moon, Maui's mother. Okay, so I talked about the dredging. So this is when they started dredging the islands. And I was interviewing one of the guys where his father was actually in the machine. And he said that they would bring up thousands of fish that were dying. All types of fish that were being dredged up when they were destroying these islands. So basically they were making a seaplane runway. So after December 7, 1941, we had World War II, right? So that's when they really wanted to land all the seaplanes. And this is one of the maps that I found actually online, showing how all of our islands got dredged out and what had happened to this area. And so this is how partly it looks now. So what do you guys think all the blue is?
Fish pond.
Yeah, exactly. Mokaue'a. So these where they would have been. These were where they were actually. And you see each of them have a name. Each fish pond, and that's really important, If something has a name, is really important to our ancestors, This is a larger one showing how do you think that you see how sharply cut all these islands are? you definitely know that they were not made like that. They were altered by man. Here's where we're getting into the canoes. We're paddling over to Mokaue'a here, and then we're walking this reef here. So this is Lono, where our tutu live. This is where we have our canoe races. So you see this sharpness? All this was cut and dredged out for the seaplanes to land. So this was actually their runway. And see this Mokaue'a, see how big it is now? Yeah. So there's a report in 1902 basically saying that how much fish, half now, half of these fish ponds were destroyed, and they're telling you it was producing 560,000 pounds of fish with just half of the ponds being filled in. And then this is what it looks like now. So you see Pearl Harbor up here? This is one of the traditional names, Pu'uloa. So Pu'uloa had their own shark god as well, Ka'apuhau, and we had our kia'i, his name is Makali'i, that a lot of the kupuna talk about Makali'i helping the fishermen fish. He would actually help slap his tail and help pai the water, slap the water. If any of you guys have been diving, that's what we do when we dive, we pai the water, and then he would actually come and help them scare the fish into the upena, into the net. But I just wanted to put this in here to show you guys all the fish ponds of Pearl Harbor, Pu'uloa area. Oahu had over 150 fish ponds. We had the most. I was shocked. I didn't realize that Oahu had the most fish ponds. And now we have the least left. I mean, we hardly have any left. I really don't know the count, but I think it was less than 12 on the island out of between 150 and 180. I saw two reports, and one says 160 and one other one says 180. So in between there, we had so much fish ponds, and we have desiccated them all, changed them all. Okay, getting back to the shark story. This is another story that we found in the Hawaiian newspaper dealing with Lono. I had my husband do this because I wanted you guys to really see and to come to life. I think this is the story that one of your guys' students wanted to put on her shirt. At least she wanted to put the shark rider on the shirt. Yeah, why not?
I know.
But you can represent Washington. Okay, so this is a true story. A lot of kids don't really understand the concept if this really could happen. But then again, you have to take yourself out of your Western minds and step into the shoes of our kupuna and our ancestors. How many of you guys had amakua that were the mono? Can you? Me too, and I actually asked one of my tutus, she was like in her 90s, and she told me that we did not have all of the sharks as our amaku. We had one, and we went down to the ocean and we fed one. And each had a name, each ohana had their name for their shark, and they would feed it, and they had this really intimate relationship with them. And even with the owls and whatever, your amaku may be, but the whole point to this whole thing is that we did not feel that we were the elite race back then. Like now, we're humans, We had this intimate relationship with our land. That's why it's called aina. Ai is to eat. The land fed us. The sharks, the dolphins, all of these animals were just so connected to us because we were not stuck on our computers like this all the time. We were actually observing nature and being in tune with nature. So here you can see how he has drawn in a protection to protect from the rough skin of the mono. So what kind of shark is this? Hammerhead. Exactly. So in that story, it's all written in Hawaiian in the 1800s. Literally in the story, in the mo'olelo, it tells you how they lashed the head of the po'o of the shark. And it actually said in there that they would use a protective coating on their legs to protect them when they're racing. And in that story, this old man is being interviewed, and he's talking about his grandfather. And the grandfather is telling him that this was his most favorite thing to do. And they raced canoes out here too, right here. Kalakaua had his canoe hale out here. Kalakaua's favorite thing to do was race canoes. On his birthday, his parade, they had canoes out on the streets with horses. It was pretty neat. But the grandfather said that racing sharks was more fun and more exciting, and he loved it more so than racing canoes. So really, really important to know this whole area is the essence of the Lono, yeah. Okay, what kind of shark is that?
I thought he was riding it.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, why are you like racing?
But he's not. This is 1930s. This picture was taken from Mokaue'a. And actually I was doing a presentation in Mokaue'a High School, and the grandson was, or the great-great-grandson was actually in the audience. And he's like, hey, that's like, oh. And I was like, oh my God, that's so exciting. But, so the story for this is that, you know when people lay nets, there's a reason why there's a law that you shouldn't keep the net in more than 4 hours, 24 hours, because fish get stuck in it. And so this mono got stuck in a net, and so he just went to go free the net. And I've had students ask me, oh, didn't he bite him? And I'm like, well, no. I think the shark was really tired and knowing that this person was going to help him, you know. But he's a fisherman, so a lot of fishermen are very much more connected, you know, spiritually to different animals. But okay, this is when it gets kind of sad. In 1975, remember I was talking about how the state didn't do the research and they came in and they actually evicted our ancestors living on these islands. And I interviewed a few kupuna that and talked story with people. And this guy right here, this photographer Ed Beebe, he documented the whole thing. And he actually took this picture. And this is one of the houses on the island burning. And the state came in and burned down the houses and told them they all had to leave because they were telling them that they were squatters. So squatters is a really negative term. It means that you have no claim to your aina. And our kupuna living here can trace our genealogy way before any Westerner had come here. So that was really sad that they didn't do the research. And so after, you know, they burned down all the houses, then they did the research, and then they realized, oh, okay, yeah, you guys do have some claim here. And so that's when the Mokaue'a Fishermen's Association was formed. And we are a non-profit organization. And in our mission, it is to educate through culture and science, and that's what you guys are doing, you know, on the island. Then they had a ceremony. But actually, we're still working on, we have a 65-year lease. So we have about 32 years left in our lease, but who knows what's going to happen after that, yeah, because the state really wants that land back. But the exciting thing is that we found one of the oldest artifacts on the island, and it was dated by one of the archaeologists in the 1970s it was dated to 1877. So in archaeology, we can date wood. It's called dendrochronology, where you can actually see all the rings on the wood and know when the wood was actually killed. And so that's, I mean, it's not actually when the artifact was carved, but it was when the wood was killed. And so this canoe, we still have it. We're actually refurbishing it. We got a grant to refurbish it. Just to what it was. We're not gonna redo it. It was never finished. But this va'a, you can literally see all the adze marks, the ko'i marks from when our kalai kuna kahu was carving this va'a. It's just so beautiful to see and to feel this va'a that all of, you know, someone from, you know, the early 1900s was actually carving this. This is not there anymore. This looks like an old picture. I actually took this in 2000 with the black and white film, but it's fallen, it's dilapidated now. So hopefully one day we'll get to build a traditional halawa'a with all the lashes and everything, with no machine-made tools. Hopefully we'll be able to bring the canoe back and have our little museum on the island. So I showed you guys a picture, the aerial picture of the fish pond. This is what it looked like before in the 70s. It was just a small fish pond. And then it got cleared. In 2006 is when we actually started working on the island and bringing students over. And this is kind of what it looks like now. So with the help of your school, Damien, you guys came out and helped out in the very, very beginning stages. You guys came out and then stopped coming out. And then now you guys are back, which is so exciting. But the different education things that we do is we do plankton tows on the canoe. So here's one here, which really we do. It's really sad that we found microscopic plastic in our plankton tows. Really sad. Plastic doesn't ever go away. It just goes away from your eyes. It just gets microscopic. So of course, so we'll bring the canoes down to the Kalihi Kai, which means the edge of the water. And Oli, because remember this was all, you could walk from here to there, yeah? This whole area you could walk on until we dredged it. And in the canoes, paddled over. This is just some of the things that we've been doing. Milani Middle School, one of their projects is to monitor the gorilla ogo, the Gracilaria selaconia. Did you guys recognize?
That's my students last year.
From last year,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon. Tyler.
Yeah,
So we,
Oh, go to
I have a former student right there, Kili'i. He was in that class.
Oh, okay.
So we collected the gorilla ogo and tried to create biodiesel, but not enough from the gorilla ogo. Kalau we could.
Oh, okay.
People kalau is more oily.
Yeah. Cool. So, do you guys have a garden here?
Yes.
So you guys can take that too and bring it back if you guys want and put it in your garden. It has so much nutrients. I've made fertilizer out of the limu. That would be a really good experiment. Yeah. So we'll get to do that. And then when we're taking the limu off the reef, there's lots of animals and critters inside there. So this right here, they're actually taking out different animals. So when we get to this station, if you guys do this station, we'll put all the animals that we find inside the buckets and then we'll look at them in the microscope, which is really neat because these animals inside of the limu, you don't ever get to see them because they're always hibernating and they're all on the tides. Even a lot of these different animals too. Well, you guys mostly see the big black loli, right? The feather duster, I don't remember seeing that when I was growing up because we hardly had a flat reef to walk on. And then the he'e, this was Barrington High School. They were like so excited because we rarely see he'e when you guys come out, but they were like so excited that we actually saw one. So, and if you guys get the he'e, maybe find one. So the different things that we do, water quality. This is 8th grade teacher from Mililani showing her kids water quality. This is another rare animal that we rarely see. It's a sea slug. The Hawaiian name is kualakai. And Auntie Mary Kui actually said that we used to eat this. We used to wrap it up in tea and eat it. I don't know how it tastes. You go taste. But, and then our reef walk, there's lots of glass out here. Because Kaka'ako used to be Pu'uopala. All that nice hills at Kaka'ako, yeah, that was a landfill. So all the glass, I think, has just been coming up on the island. And then here's our plankton tour. Our 8th graders doing plankton tour on the canoe. And yeah, they see all of that. I was not kidding about all the bottles that, and a lot of them are Primo bottles because, again, Primo used to be where Kaka'ako is, and then the landfill. Yeah, my grandfather used to work there. But a lot of rubbish, everything that comes, all the humans up here that throw stuff into the stream, Kali Stream, Kapalama, all end up on the islands. Yeah, or even at the beach when people throw opala in the garbage can and it's like fully covered. Okay, this was I kid you not, this is exactly what I saw when I took this picture. I was on Laysan Island, which is, the Northwest Hawaiian Islands. I think that time I was with the Mokaue'a scientists, but I walked up and just saw Eva birds, albatross, just all dead. This really, really affected me. I couldn't believe how much plastic was in their oku. And this is why they died. See, that's why it's so important to pick up opala, even if you didn't put it there, especially on the beach, even little plastics, because the birds, the fish, they think it's food and they eat it and they bring it back for their babies and they're trying to feed it. But if they did swallow it, they won't even make it. And there's lighters in there. This is the bonus experiment that any of you guys, that is like a really cool experiment because you get to take apart their stomach. And you can get it from the NOAA scientists, I think. But I've been in a classroom where we had 5th graders and we've taken apart the stomach of the bird and all of this stuff came out of it. But this is why when you guys come to the island, pick up even the littlest pieces. Because we have a Mokaue'a that visits our island. Her name is Uilani. She's young. We have turtles. We have so much birds that come and eat all off the reef, even plastic. This is all in the Northwest Hawaiian Islands, all up Papahana Mokaue'a. They have these cleanup crews. All of this is all floating in our ocean. And this is what happens. Like, these are all real pictures. I have friends that go do internships up there. And actually, when you guys graduate, you guys can sign up for internships to go up to the Northwest Hawaiian Islands. Please take advantage of that because there's so much people coming from the mainland that don't know anything about our culture and don't know anything about Hawaii, and they're up in our Kupuna sacred islands doing research. But there's 2 NOAA ships here, the Hialakai and the Oscar Study, that you guys can get jobs on doing science. I was with 30 scientists last September on this ship. They're all marine biologists. They're all diving at 300 feet. They're like just finding new species of limu, new species of fish, and there were three local people out of all of this. And one of them was Hawaiian. Only one out of like 40 scientists. So guys, you have to infiltrate the science world. You guys can stay home and have great jobs doing science, Okay, almost done. Go fall asleep. This is one that's really important. Okay, so you guys see this? This is 348 boats. This is Mokaue'a. Those of you that's been there, we got in the canoe right here. The state wants to put a marina right here.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we're still fighting it. We're still trying to get them to realize that this is our only flat water, that we can train our 8-year-old steersmen, that we can have canoe races. There's just so much water educational activities going on in this area. I mean, we have Hokulea Dock right here, we have PBS, their whole education system. But what we actually want to put here is an aquatic center. Have you guys ever been to Florida or California? They have these aquatic centers where the whole center is dedicated to water sports. Kayaking, skiing, sailing, paddling, everything to do with water. So we're hoping that they won't put it there, or they won't put as much, because this is our last. And it is going to affect the reef over here. But they're missing this. So, come on, guys. We'll be scientists already. But this is Uncle Bill Molale. He's one of the old-time fishermen that lived on Mokaue'a. And you know that song by Is, what would they say if they came back in South Street Nights? That's the song I think about when I think of all of our kupuna that lived on these islands and left all of their stories and their mana'o that are still unknown. So many people are still unaware of these islands, and that, you know, all the Kamehamehas lived, they all had summer houses down there. Kamehameha III, he had his house down there. Kalakaua, all of our ali'i lived in this area. Okay, and this is your Ahupua'a, and this is, you know, your area. This is our T-shirt that we have. So this is, you see the shark here? The shark is just keeps coming up, you know, and the kia'i, the shark out there, is called Makali'i. And then, you know, you have all the other shark stories. You have the shark boy out there, but there's so much stories that I cannot go into. And he's throwing things at me right now. But there's so much more stories that if you guys are ever doing a report, just get my email address from, well, I have it up here actually. But this shirt actually is a map. I had my husband draw it as a teaching tool, yeah, so that when people are using this shirt, they can actually tell the story of what they learned. But thanks for being so patient and kind. Do you guys have any questions?
What's a firework?
Oh, fireworm. Okay, so when that's the centipede of the ocean. So this is, if you guys are doing the limu section, you'll definitely see a fireworm. It can sting you, and that's why I put it here, because it's like fiberglass. It goes into you, and yeah. But we'll all have gloves on, but it looks like a little centipede, and it's actually really tiny. Sometimes they're about that big. But there was some on the news a couple months ago that they were like kind of big, but we normally don't have fireworms that big. But yeah, you'll definitely get to see that. So when you come out to the reef, you can lift up the coral, and then you'll see all the different colors of the sea sponges. You'll see things that you've never seen before that live under the water in the dark. Just remember when you're lifting up the coral to put it back, because they will die from the sun. But I hope today when you guys leave class today, you guys will ponder and just look out and know what you guys are looking at now, and hear the names, see the names, so that your cultural landscape comes alive to you. You guys are up here in a very beautiful environment. I'm hoping that you guys will expand your consciousness and evolve and grow and want to learn more about your place names and how important place names are, because they give you the clues and all of the ike and the knowledge that our ancestors want us to pass on and to perpetuate. Please remember to bring shoes. Don't wear slippers. Sometimes girls come with their fancy sandals. That's not going to cut it on the reef. And extra change of clothes for after. Yeah, and sunscreen, and maybe a hat. It gets really hot, and bottle water. Thanks again, and there's my email. It's just the name of the island at Gmail if you guys are ever doing a presentation.
Do you guys have any questions for Auntie Kahaolani about the island?
Meditate on it.
Yeah.
Meditate.
It'll be a wonderful experience when you guys are out there.
Thanks for being so patient. I know this was a lot of information regarding these.
Yeah, no way.